Hello, it's Grahame Rees here from KLR, and I'm here with Dave and Mel from your Oval in New South Wales. And we're just having a chat about KLR Marketing. And what was it like before you did KLR, Dave?
Well, I mean, we worked on a lot of old principles, like you'd try and buy something, what we'd say is cheap, and, then you got to keep it and try and resell it off as, more than what you paid for, and that's how we always sort of went. And I mean, we'd had a fair few, obviously, mistakes where things that went wrong, and Mel decided to do the course, and things, I think, it went in leaps and bounds where we're going to today. We still make mistakes, but we can account for the mistakes. The only way we'd make a mistake, wouldn't it, is if we've underestimated our weights. And when we've bought something, like we've done our spreadsheets, we know what our profit is. So, for example, you work out on 250 kilos, and when we get back, you weigh them, you go, geez, those bloody things were 230 kilos. Which wouldn't it? That would be the only thing where it... So Mel, when you were at the KLR school, what switched the light on for you? Because I know I saw your light switch on. Yeah,
it took a bit of doing, and a little bit of thought process when I went home. But once it clicked, it really clicked. It was a bit difficult to change all those paradigms around, but once I changed them, yeah, it was great. Once I saw the light, and...
So how's your business grown since then? So what did you start with back then, and what's happened since that time?
Not much at all. Started with about 4 to 5 head, really, on a yearly basis, and they used to pay our rates. It was just a hobby thing. And the previous year, we've turned over...
About 200, haven't we?
About 200 head, yeah. It's great. We love it. We know what we're doing when we go in. I know exactly... my price range, I stick to it, and I don't deviate from it.
So who does the buying for you?
I like to do the buying.
Yep.
And I just stick with that, because I just think the agent, unless the agent has done it and know exactly where you're coming from, they don't really have any idea. I've tried to talk to my agent. He knows a little bit, but he'll still $20 or $30 or $40 he thinks is nothing over my margin, whereas I would have pulled out long ago. And he thinks that's fine.
And how have you found that? I'm interested. How have you found, going into the sale yard, there's mostly blokes in there. What have you found that in?
It was a little bit hard at first, and they do look at you a bit funny, but as long as you just stand your ground and keep going and just keep turning up and don't let it worry you, it's fine now.
But you've been buying out of fat markets too, which is always a clicky place to try and buy, and I think because you stick to your guidelines, I mean, Mel's not scared of walking away. You normally know if Mel walks away, it obviously wasn't worth buying, and because you do that, they know you don't muck around, and I think they've accepted you for that.
The whole thing is sticking to your price range and know what your price range is, and not being... I mean, I could have 10 bids on several pens and not get any of them. It doesn't worry me.
So one of the things I always like to ask people is, do you get concerned about the market fall? Right now the market's dropping a little bit. Do you get concerned about that anymore?
No, not at all. It doesn't even worry us. Once we've done our spreadsheet, we know that the margin's usually all the same, and you just keep going.
Well, didn't that happen over Christmas? That was a major concern there back in December, wasn't it, with so much food around, and it was so hard to get back into the market. What you traded, bought in and bought 20 or 30 or something like that there in first sale in January, and at the peak, apparently the peak price ranges, and we still, the money was there.
The profit wasn't huge, but there was still a good profit there, and there was still profit, and we still made a couple of trades within that hard time when everyone else was holding off.
So one more question: what determines when you sell? Is it they're ready, they've got to go to the feedlot? Or what determines when you sell an animal?
It varies. Sometimes I just want to make a trade, so I'll just trade them, do the spreadsheet and just get it moving along. Never usually feed. It feeds not a problem. Basically we just want to keep trading.
So you manage your grass.
Yep.
And what about cash flow? What have you found with
cash flow? Is great. We actually went to the bank just a couple of weeks ago, and the bank manager looked at our cash flow and said it's amazing. So, and we've never had any of that ever before. So in that year, it was a huge cash flow, which enabled us to, everything looks good on paper, and it's all going really well.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for that.
Quite enjoy it. Yeah,
thanks, Grahame. Thanks to KLR.